same of the name and facilities of a political party, fight the election on the ticket of that party and succeed, but he will not subject to the discipline of the political party. What happens traditionally is, the members do not know the business of the House because the business of the House is decided by what is called the Business Advisory Committee. And only some members of the House of political parties are members of that committee. So every week, couple of times, every week, a meeting takes place as to what should be the business for the next week. So that's decided, and then it is announced in the House. On that basis, the whip then informs the members of the House that this is going to be the business. These are the bills that are to be debated. This is the position that we have to take on the bills. Therefore, you please prepare your speeches in the context of the position of the party. That's the job of the whip. Now, it's not that. That is not the job of somebody who says, I am a group leader and I will decide. That is why the whip is appointed by the political party, for that very reason.
On general parliamentary business, how specific are the whips? I mean, this is not unrelated to this case. I mean,
a WhatsApp message is sent to us. Three lines at the end. Underlining, otherwise you have to be present, otherwise action will be taken against. This is a whip. And you come and vote, and this is how you have to vote. A 3-line whip will come. Vote for this bill, vote against this resolution. So each one under a WhatsApp, that message is sent. So we have to be present. They're very generous, because while we argue our cases, proceedings are going on, so we're not present. So they don't trouble us too much.
Special exemption 9 schedule. Special 9 schedule.
That holds for Mr. Jetmanani also, right?
Well, my personal opinion, this is my personal, I don't want to say it. The fact of the matter is, if you want to practice, you should practice. You want to be in Parliament, devote your time to Parliament. That should be. Otherwise, we can only perform one function, we can't perform both. Anyway, that's another matter. No, it's not that. It's what happens is that the key issues of the party are nowadays before the court. And they want us to be here. And slowly Mr. Jetmalani will realize as the burden increases that he might also have to do that. This is all this argument that was made, freedom of expression, we have a right, we feel that your policies are wrong, you have deviated from ideology. You knew the ideology. You knew that he is the Paksh Pramukh. You knew what he stands for. You took his ticket, you were minister, you never raised your voice, and suddenly in Assam you go to say that no, we are very, very concerned about it. Prior to 21st of June, where is a single statement that is on the record of this case? Not a single statement. That's because you got lured into it. That you thought that maybe by using your majority in the legislature, you could actually topple the government and become the chief minister. So then it says, well, any difference of opinion must be first ventilate and fight within the party. Kindly see that. Your Lordship asked me that question, then what does he do? He has to ventilate it within the party, call a meeting. Then, more important, the membership of the House does not become his private property, nor can he trade in it. How prescient, these words are. That's not his private property, nor can he trade in it. I mean, I'm sure, he wasn't in Assam for cleansing his conscience, There were bigger issues that were to be dealt with in Assam, somewhat akin to some ground issues. Anyway, it is a trust that he is in the members of a trustee. He cannot also say that he will take advantage of the name and facilities of a political party, fight the election on the ticket of that party and succeed, but he will not subject to the discipline of the political party. This is simply unthinkable, besides being unethical and immoral. He has to abide by the party discipline within the House. He might fight within the party to have his point of view or policies adopted by the party, but once the party takes a decision one way or the other and issues the whip, he shall have to abide by it or resign and go out. This, in essence, tells you, Malads, what the contours of the conduct of a member of the legislature in the House should be, and in what circumstances, and there are only two, that he can actually disobey the whip. One, he can take the permission of the leader, and two, Malads, he says something contrary to the whip and the party condones it. And this Law Commission report led to the 91st Constitutional Amendment, deleting paragraph 3. So in practice, the connection between the political party and its elected legislators is maintained by the office of the Chief Whip, who in its essence is the representative of the political party amongst legislators. Then Perumal versus that, just kindly have a look at the paragraph 12, but I won't read the whole thing. The paragraph starting second paragraph, the whips have to know their men. Your Lordship has that paragraph?
Yes.
The whips have to know their men. This involves a close contact with all members and knowledge of their interests, special aptitudes, qualities, and potentialities. Whips take these aspects into account while sending list of speakers to the chair in the interest of quality of debate and deliberations. They keep members, I cannot go to the speaker. No member of the legislature can go to the speaker in Parliament or Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha that I want to speak. He has no choice in the matter. The party will decide who is the party, Malad. It's the leader. That on this issue, on cooperative societies, my member in the legislature knows more about cooperative societies than somebody else. Therefore, allow him to lead the debate. In finance, Malad, who leads the debate in Rajya Sabha? Mr. Chidambaram. Who decides that? The party. So, Malad, each person has his expertise on education, on telecom. There'll be different people in the House who will be espousing the cause of that subject matter because he has expertise. And who decides that? Not even the leader. Leader will put up the name to the party president or the UPA chairperson or the party. And then they will say, okay, now you let him decide. Let him debate. So this whole argument and sitting in Assam, I can throw you out, I can throw the whip out, and I can change the leader of the House, and I'll proclaim myself to the leader of the House. What is the speaker going to do when you send it back to the speaker? And this realization dawned 2 years afterwards, Maharaj, when he was a minister and all that. So being constantly in touch with the members of lobbies of the House, the whips acting as intermediaries between the leaders and the rank and file of their parties, keep the former in touch with the current opinion, not only within their own party and thereby nip the incipient revolt in the bud, but also to some extent with other movements of opinion. And it is through the whips that members of a party come to know about their leader's views and the plans into which the leader thinks it necessary expedient to initiate them. The whips are the active agents within the parties, a channel of communication whereby one party negotiates, and I'll leave that out. Then, Malas, kindly come to the next paragraph, Malas, para 13. The chief whip is the eyes and ears of the leader of the party, so far as the members are concerned. He conveys the wishes of the leader to the members of the party and keeps the leader informed of the current opinion in the party, as also the moods and inclinations of individual members when these deserve special notices. During sessions in his capacity as advisor to the leader, he normally meets the Prime Minister not only on one set interview daily, but also several times in the course of the day for brief consultations. Why, Malas? What happens is there is hangama in the house. Not people are going to go to the well. You immediately have a meeting with the leader. What should we do? because the House is adjourned for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour. You go back to the leader, you have a quiet meeting with us, the whip will have a quiet meeting, a decision will be taken, conveyed to the legislature. So to say, Malas, that I am 40 members of the legislative party, I can do what I like, I'm a separate group, I'm a separate entity, I can remove you, it's unthinkable in parliamentary democracy. Unthinkable. And Malas, this per se, that's why I use the expression per se, is voluntarily given up membership of the party, per se. Apart from making the House and keeping essentials for transaction of business, the Chief Whip has the whip hand in shaping the course, tone, and tenor of debate on special occasions, for he selects the speakers from his party and hands over a list to the speaker for facilitating the process of catching his eyes. The responsibility of keeping everybody at his post and keeping his party united, strong, and well-knit falls on him. He selects members for the select committees and other parliamentary and government assignments, keeping in view the background, experience, aptitude, qualifications of members of his party. This gives him, supposing Malas, a select committee is to be formed and Malas, a person to be nominated. Who decides that? If 40 members of the House will say, no, because we are 40, we nominate this person? No. The whip will tell the speaker that this is our nominee on this select committee or this joint committee or the standing committee. So this gives him wide power of patronage, which comes handy in keeping with party members amenable to his influence. It is thus clear from a reading of the aforesaid that the whip forms an important link, an umbilical cord between the political party and the legislators. The whip enforces the directions of the political party. Then, Millards, there is a discussion about how the term political party as well as actually was not there in the Constitution earlier, or not Constitution, even otherwise was not there in a statute. Then Millards 29A of the representation. I don't have to go through the history, Millards. We are short of time, and I don't want to, Millards, take time unnecessarily. My learned friend can, if he wishes to deal with some of this. Then Millards, kindly come to. Yeah. Well, there is a judgment of this court in 2018, volume 9, SCC. 2018-9 SCC, page 100. This is Sailesh Manubhai Parmar versus Election Commission of India. Yes. Millards, in this case, Millards, they wanted to introduce nota option in the Rajya Sabha elections, Millards, for elections to the Rajya Sabha. Millards, in that context, Millards, at page 116, the judgment starts at 100. I just read one paragraph, paragraph 19 at page 116. Page 116, paragraph 19.
Yes, we all are here.
Yes, no, I'll just read it. The aforesaid passages throw immense light on the distinction between direct and indirect elections, and especially on the concept of indirect election, which encompasses proportional representation. There is voting by open ballot, and it has been so introduced to sustain the foundational values of party discipline and to avoid any kind of cross-voting, thereby ensuring purity in the election process. They have been treated as core values of democracy and fair election. It is worth to note that in a voting for members of the Council of States, the nature of voting by an elector is a grave concern. It is because if in such an election, there is a party whip, and the elector is bound to obey the command of the party. The party discipline in this kind of election is of extreme significance. For that is the fulcrum of the existence of political parties. It is essential in a parliamentary democracy. The thought of cross-voting and corruption is obnoxious in such a voting. In this context, we may refer with profit to the, then para Malads, 22 at page 118. 23 actually. No, let's deal with 20. So we have to cut all this thing, time is short. 23 at page 118. If I may read, Malads. In a democracy, the purity of election is categorically imperative. The democratic body politics